Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 239 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challand, with co-host Zack Carlson. This is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. Hey, Zack, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
I saw some really disturbing news just before going live here. I think things have really gotten real for me, for the nation. Zack, as a nation, we're running low on frozen pizzas. Are we really? Yeah.
Wow. See, now here, that's why I'm on keto, so I can't have a frozen pizza even if I wanted one.
Oh. You wait till a global pandemic to go on a keto diet. Okay.
Yeah, it was actually literally the week before it started, and I was like, and then all this things going on. It's like, maybe this is bad timing. Maybe we just need to stop and just start over. But so far, it's been okay. So I'm sticking with it.
Well, I've seen the pictures of all the grocery stores. The shelves are all bare except for all the tofu stuff. So you're good, right?
No, keto is meat, man meat. Oh. Wait, that didn't sound right either. Hold on. No, it's, no, everything's been going good for that, so far. We'll see. I did go to Home Depot today for the first time, and it's kind of like, you know, those military training videos where it's like a guy like going in the mud on his hands and knees, going under a barbed wire fence. Right. Kind of like that to get into Home Depot, because they have the parking lot all blocked off with big pallets of wood. And then you have to go in this, like, it's like it must be how a cow feels before it goes to slaughter. Cause you get stuck in this chute and you have to walk through this serpentine, and then they count you as you're coming in the store. And then there's a lady at the exit doors counting how many people are leaving. And then they're tracking how many people are in the store at any given time. So it's, that's what I felt like. I've
heard the Home Depots and, home improvement stores at large are just overran by people that have never been in a Home Depot or home store. So it makes it that much worse.
Yeah. The parking lot was packed. I mean, we had to go get a dishwasher, and, our dishwasher after 5 years is just kind of gone. It just doesn't clean anymore.
Right.
Things are coming out dirty, and it's like, well, this is kind of wasting them. So, we had wanted a Bosch dishwasher anyways, and I'm on looking at HomeDepot.com, Lowe's.com, all these things, and saying which one's the best and everything. And it said on display at Home Depot. So I'm like, oh, great. It'll be in stock. I got the card. It'll be fine. And go there. And I was like, hey, lady, I like this one. Give it to me. And she goes, oh, no, we just put them on display. We don't actually stock them. We have to, it takes like 10 days to get them to you. And I'm like, well, I want it now. I'm American. So, we had to go to an actual appliance store, and, they had it, but they didn't even have it at the store. You had to go to a warehouse, which was like 5 minutes down the road, where they actually hold everything. And then you just get it there. So I got it, installed it. It's working great. Fantastic so far.
That's on my to buy list is a Bosch dishwasher talk on the Firearms Radio Network.
Yeah.
Because I went through 2 Whirlpool brands at the old house, and they last like 4 or 5 years in their junk. So
yeah, supposedly. Well, and here's a very interesting tidbit I never knew about dishwashers before today. Apparently most dishwashers, which my old one was included, and most lesser series of Bosches do this way as well, is it's considered a condensation drying. So it heats up the air in there, and then the water gets sucked to the stainless steel sides, and then it runs off. But what happens is, apparently, if you let the dishwasher finish and you wait too long to empty it, the water that is on the sides of the stainless steel inside can go transfer back onto your dishes. So, because we always wonder, why didn't this dry? This is ridiculous. It's been in here, because we usually do it after dinner and then wait till the next day after we get home from work to empty it. So it's sits in there, 20 hours or whatever. And this one that we bought is a Series 800 Bosch, and it has a actual heated air drying element in there that is supposed to eliminate that.
Oh, you've got the Series 800. You must have got that stimulus check.
Yeah, I got my Trump bucks.
Yeah. Wait, I thought that was gun money. Why are you buying a dishwasher?
Oh, we got gun money stuff too. Yeah, we wait till we get to all of our purchases.
So did you do about anything in guns this week, or that's the main topic, right?
Oh man, yeah. We should. I mean, we got enough to do main topic, and I've got so much that I don't want to just talk in one big long rambling. So let's do one section of me, and then we'll switch over to you, and then we'll switch back. Actually, you should start because I am been dying to hear about this kid barrel. I want to know what happened with this kid barrel that you had.
Well, let's first talk about Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Patch of the month for April's finally shipping. COVID-19 has totally disrupted the patch of the month, and I'm so sorry for subscribers, but it shipped. Last of them shipped today, which is great. And then we have a really great design coming up for this for May. So definitely want to be subscribed to the Patch of the Month Club, patriotpatch.co. Also check out the gun cleaning mats and, all the great patches, over 85 designs in stock, patriotpatch.co. So, yeah, I guess I've got like two like gun things. I'll hit those, and then the rest is like homesteading, prepper, whatever stuff, and we'll do that later. So the kid barrel, if you remember the episode, I talked about the 1022 build using the Odin chassis. What's a shorter chassis called?
It's just the regular. I think that's just the regular Odin, and then the other one is the Deep Six. Oh,
okay. So my drama with the barrel install on that, and then after I got it installed, it broke basically the chafer channel where the extractor goes into to pull the cases out. There's like a little machining channel there just outside of the chamber on the side of the barrel, and it like pushed some of that metal into the chamber, making the chamber like oblong and totally screwing everything up. Nothing with chamber. And so I sent it back. At first I thought it was, might have been the bolt carrier, but I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It's got to be like the metallurgy and the barrel or something is off. But like kid, it wasn't very much help. It was a little bit hard getting them to respond to me to send it back. And then they did respond. I had to send it back. I had to send pay for my own postage. And then once I got it back, I had to like kind of, knock on their email and be like, hey, did you get a chance to look at this? Cause I asked, can you fix this? I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know why it did this. Pretty much they got back to me, I don't know, a week or two later saying they can't, they heard back from their shop department or whatever they called it. They can't fix it. And they said, well, we can give you $100 credit towards anything in the store, or we can send the barrel back to you.
But you didn't pay $100 for this barrel. You paid more than that, right?
Yeah, it's $150, $155.
Yeah. So where's the $50 disparity?
You know what? If I sent it back in like pristine condition other than the problem area, I would have challenged them. But remember, I sanded down the, part of the outside, and then I nicked up some of the barrel too. So I'm like, to them, it probably looks like Joe Bob here really effed this up somehow. And they're really kind of blaming me, which I don't know how I could have caused damage to the part that got damaged because I never touched that area whatsoever. So that doesn't make any sense to me, but I was happy they gave me $100 credit because I said, sure, I want the same barrel. And so, I had to call and they charged like $55 to my credit card to, pay for the rest of it. And they did free shipping this time and everything. So that was good. And supposedly it's in the mail. But like now I'm thinking, Zach, I need to send this off to wherever you were talking about yours or your bosses, you sent off to have the chamber enlarged a little bit. Because I really do think the chamber is too tight on these kid barrels to chamber a wide variety of ammo.
Yeah, I would try it first before you do anything, just because the only reason we opened up the chamber on my boss's barrels was because he had a whole bunch of older CCI subsonic ammo, and that didn't want a chamber. But when I had my current production CCI subsonics in there, it was fine. So I would at least try it before you throw more money after this, because you've turned this $150 barrel into a $250 or a $200 barrel. Then you're going to spend another $50 on the chambering. So then you're going to have a $250 barrel.
I know, it's ridiculous. Anyways, when I get back, my plan is to remember I got the if you haven't listened to past episodes, I picked up a Ruger 1022 Charger, one of the new ones that is like set up to be a pistol caliber carbine type of setup because it has a Picatinny back to it where you can put a brace on it. So I picked up that more modern Charger, and so I'm gonna put this barrel in that with everything else stock, and I'm gonna do the heat cold trick that you told me to install it. I figure it'll probably install easier into the stock receiver, maybe too.
Probably.
But that should take all other elements out of this equation for this kid barrel, and that should tell me what it's really like. So
good. Well, I hope it works. It should be fine. I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't be, but I cannot believe how much trouble they're giving you over it, and how much trouble they've given us. And when you look at some of the forums that they talk about Kid, and it's just like they act like Kid is God, and I'm just not seeing it so far.
Yeah, I don't know. They have kind of a terrible website too. Like it seems like they have an RMA process for returns on it, but they don't utilize it with me.
Me neither.
It was just. It's like an old, I don't know what even platform it's on, but I'm like, come on, do something a little better here. Or have better customer service where it doesn't matter if the website's crappy. Okay. So the other thing in guns was I talked about panic ordering ammo. I did mention before that I ordered from Bass Pro because they had cheap 9mm and cheap 233 or 5.56. I forget which. But that's still in like a whole holding pattern. I got an email saying that part of my order has been delayed. None of it has shipped, but apparently just part of it has been delayed. So it's been weeks and weeks now, and apparently part is on time. And so they gave me like a ship date of like into June or something for the part that's been delayed. So who knows how long it's going to take for the part that's on time that hasn't yet shipped either. And
they took your money already?
It's still showing in my bank account as holding or
pending whatever.
Pending, right. It still has but still, like, I feel like at this point they should, refund part of it if it's, I don't know, or give me the option to, but whatever. I'll just leave that hold and see what actually happens. Anyways, like a few days after that last episode we recorded where I talked about that, I saw Academy actually had an even better deal. And so I put in an order in Academy, and it came within like 4 days. It was like, boom, boom, boom here. I'm like, well, I know who I'm ordering from next time.
I've been seeing this. I follow Mr. Guns and Gear on Facebook, and he posts all those deals that he sees. They're almost all affiliate links, but they are pretty good. And he's like bird dogging all this stuff. And he did a poll on his page of who's ordered from Cabela's or Bass Pro and gotten their stuff. And it's like very little people have actually gotten their stuff from them. But Academy, it's like 4 days and you're in. I was about to order that 62 grain 5.56 from Academy, because on his post, he says, oh, it's 39 cents a round, which is a little bit heavy. I mean, that's already kind of expensive. But then when you actually put it in your cart and actually go to check out, it's $5 flat rate shipping and then like $12 tax. So they actually bumped it up to like 43 cents a round. And I'm like, I was already on the fence with that 39. And so I'm trying to put a moratorium on panic buy and just wait it out. Because I do have a bit of that already, but I just, want to get ahead of the game.
I was trying not to buy anything that didn't already appear to be a good price, but I really don't have much 5.56 or 223 at all. I have plenty of like 22 now and 9 and 45. That's really all I shoot. I mentioned before how it seems like the panic and everything was delayed for groceries and stuff in my area, and how there's still ammo everywhere. Well, this last week, ammo is like gone. Well, not gone. I could buy 22, but 223, 5.56 was gone, and they were limited in one box of type and like 4 boxes total. But I could still buy 22. I could still buy 9 and 45, but it was all expensive. It was all, it was all probably more than I could get anything online that I've been seeing for. So.
It's probably because they started to go looking to buy ammo to replenish their stock and then realized all the distributors were out of it too. And they're like, oh, crap.
Well, that SG ammo sent out an email detailing how it's really, really not looking good for the year, I guess, as far as a supplier point of view where all the stocks have been bought up now, and there's not hardly anything on the horizon coming out besides what just got cleaned out of all the warehouses. So that's not good. I was hoping it would let up by summer or late, fall at least, but I'm not sure it will at this point.
Well, maybe I should get some more 5.56 then, just to be on the front side of it all.
Field panic, Zach. Field.
Hey, you're the one feeling it. You're the one that just said that. You're the one that broke.
You're doing it after me, so I'm.
But I'm only doing it because of what you told me. Huh. Well,
anyway, so what's all the stuff you've been up to?
It has been a whirlwind week or two. We haven't recorded in 2 weeks, right? So it's been a bit much. Now, I think we should talk about suppressors first, because that's kind of interesting and it's a little bit easier.
Okay, cool.
We kind of talked about suppressors the other day or last show, because I had just ordered them, and so now I have something to actually go off of. And what I want to remember was I wanted to switch over to the Q Cherry Bomb system and the Plan B system. And the Cherry Bomb is this little adapter. It's a omnidirectional muzzle brake that you have that has the tapered shoulder and the threads on the outside. And this becomes a quick detach mount, basically. I think it's one of the more sexy QD mounts out there. I've looked at a lot of them. I looked at the Plan A from Griffin Armament. They have a lot more options, like if you want to make a muzzle brake or whatever, like a flash hider and all that kind of stuff. But really, this is just kind of a placeholder, because it's not going to really be shot as a brake really at all. It's just there to mount the suppressor. And The reason is, so most suppressors, so here is a YHM Turbo K, and on the back side, there's a big threaded hole. And normally your direct thread adapter just threads into this, and then you got a hole the size of the muzzle size you want. So like 1/2x28 for this, and you just thread that on. But what inevitably happens is when you go to unscrew this, the adapter will break free from the can and not come off the rifle. And that drives me insane. Or it'll start loosening up when you're firing. And part of that is because you're going off of a 90-degree shoulder. Like, it's butting up against the shoulder that's left on the barrel. And that's not, I don't know if it's just not enough friction there, not enough torque, whatever. But it inevitably, and then the carbon gets in the threads because it's exposed. That hot gas comes out of the muzzle. It gets in those threads that you're trying to go on. And I've never had good luck, and it drives me insane when cans come apart in my hand. I don't know, just like a pet peeve. Maybe it's irrational, but what the deal is this Cherry Bomb. The whole thing is it's got a taper on the front side, and it's a whole taper. And supposedly, now I'll test this when I actually get all the parts, is when you screw that QD mount on those tapers, instead of a 90-degree and it rests around this taper, there's a lot more surface area for it to have friction against, and it's not supposed to back off in theory. So it's not supposed to back off at all. And then with the threads behind the taper protects it from any gases, so no gas should escape that taper and crud up the threads. So in theory, this is supposed to be, they call it QD, but it's not QD in the traditional sense. It's just like a 5 full revolutions instead of like a full on thread. And it's supposed to work. So I don't know if you remember last time I wanted to buy this YHM Turbo K. This Turbo K is a little tiny, small can. It's a 223 can. These are these new wave of cans where there's no core and tube system. Each baffle is just kind of welded. There's very fine lines that are welded all the way here, and they stack them on top of each other, and it creates like a one unified unit. I called YHM to order this. They did not have them. They said they weren't going to have them for like 3 months. All the distributors were gone. Everything was out of it. So this is an affordable can. I think retail, is $400, something like that. On their website, it's $485. It's usually a lot cheaper than on the market. So when this was not available to me, I went back to a different company that I saw, Rex Silentium, and they had this is the ones I think last show I just ordered these. And this is the same style with the baffles. You can see the lines on it. That's each one of those is a baffle, and that's a weld. What's your smirking for?
Oh, you're just making everyone so jealous that you can order a can and be like, oh, I can hold my can and use it a week or two later, where everyone else is waiting months and months and years even.
Well, that is true. It is a nice perk. I will give you that for sure. So these cans were inexpensive. These are retail in the $475, $450 range, I think, something like that. $450. They're $450. They're $449.50. Yeah. And since they were so cheap, I bought one in each. I bought a 264 can for 6.5 Creedmoor, which is what this one is, and I also bought a 224 bore size for 5.56. It's exactly the same can. It's the same diameter, same everything. They just changed the hole size in it. And the reason I bought the smaller hole is in their spec sheet, they said the 224 can on a 5.56 is quieter than a 264 can on a 5.56. So I was trying to get all the benefit I could get, and they list them. This is the kind of the weird thing. So they must. It's really hard when you go to compare suppressors on each individual manufacturer's page, because you don't know if they're counting it with the mount or not without the mount. You don't know. And so what I did is I took all the mounts out of these cans. So I have the 2 Rex cans. And then I also have, this is my Dead Air Nomad 30. This is the one I bought for my 6.5 Creedmoor, and I've had it, and I actually waited the whole time, and I actually have a real stamp for this one already. And so I took the mounts out of every one of them. So that even the playing field, because all of these are going to get Q's Plan B mount. And the Plan B mount is just the standard thread pitch here, and then it has the interface that interfaces with this cherry bomb. That adapter is 1.85 ounces. So they're all across the board going to get whatever I measured them at plus 1.85 ounces, because they're all going to have the same mount. Yeah. So the YHM is only 8.9 ounces. This is the lightest can, and it's also the smallest. It's only 4 3/4 inches long by 1.562 diameter. And then the Rex cans are both the same. They're 11 ounces, and they're 5.6 inches long and 1.70. So they're a bit fatter. And I think a fatter can looks better proportionally when it's on the gun. I know aesthetics shouldn't matter, but it does. Sure. Yeah. So I think it looks better, and you can kind of see when I put them next to each other, that inch and what is it? Just over about an inch, just shy of an inch longer. So you're not giving up a ton on that one. It's a little bit heavier, 11 versus 8.9. And then the Nomad is kind of a beast. It's 12.9 ounces without the mount, and it's 6.5 inches long. So it's a full almost 2 inches longer than the Turbo K, and it's 1.735. So it's even bigger than the Rex, and the Rex is 1.70. So it's 35 thou, even bigger diameter. This is also a 30 cal can. So this will with a interchangeable front cap here, so you can unscrew the front cap and put different diameters in there. So that's one thing. This is meant for bigger calibers, obviously. This 264 can, it's a solid welded front cap, so you're stuck with 264 smaller. And then the Turbo K is obviously 224 smaller. So I can forgive the Dead Air being beefier just because it's got to be meant for bigger calibers. It has to have all the internals and the beefiness. Yeah,
it's more modular.
All those. Yeah. And so then I ordered the Rexes, and this is all I was planning on was these 2 Rex cans. And then serendipity happened, and I had a few Glock uppers. When I said I panic buyed all those, I finished all my Poly 80 guns. Do you remember when I said that last week or last time? I had all these cannibalized Poly 80 guns. I had like 6 of them, and I built them all. I bought all the parts to finish them, so I had full guns. Well, then I started looking at my safe, and I was like, well, this is stupid. I don't even like these Poly 80 guns. Like, I really don't care for them. They're not comfortable. I don't think they shoot well. I just don't like them. So my buddy Dan said that he needed some Glock uppers because he had some bare lowers. And so I was like, well, I know you have a Turbo K. And so I traded some uppers for a Turbo K. So I got a Turbo K and my Rex cans. So this is cool. And then after everything was done, we, from our distributors, we get these allocation emails because, the distributors get stuff, and then your rep gets like, hey, you get 10 of these to sell to your guys, and the other guy gets 10 for him or whatever. And there was a Trash Panda, the Q Trash Panda, which is like the original can I wanted before any of this other stuff. And I emailed him right away. I'm like, hey, I want that can, give it to me, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't hear anything back. And then he finally responded back. He goes, oh yeah, that was gone in like 15 minutes. And I only had one. So I was like, crap. And so my buddy Dan has an account at the same company. So he reached out to his rep, and I reached out to my rep and said, hey, we want one of those cans if you get another one. And like the next day, Dan's rep got one, and he got it. So now I have a Trash Panda coming as well.
Awesome.
So the Trash Panda is the one I really wanted.
I've lost
but
count.
now that I have
6 or 7, 8.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of those, and then I've got my Nomad or my my Grunt. That'll be 6. That's 6 center fire rifle cans. I think I'll have. But the Trash Panda is really similar to the Rex. Like the Rex is basically a stainless steel Trash Panda for most intents and purposes. I mean, but the Trash Panda is 11.8 ounces, but it is already made to adapt to the cherry bomb. So it doesn't need an adapter. So that 11.8 is 11.8. It doesn't need to add the 1.85 to it. So it's going to be lighter, but it's lighter, but it's because it's made out of titanium. It's all titanium. It's basically this in titanium, but it's bigger. Instead of 1.70 in diameter, it's 1.75, and it's longer. Instead of 5.6, it's 6.9. So it's got a lot more volume to it. So it's probably just got more baffles and they're bigger overall. Yeah. So it should be a quieter can. Should be. And it's a 30 cal can, so it should work in pretty much everything I own. I can use on that can. And it's already got the adapter, and the Trash Panda comes with 2 adapters, 2 cherry bombs. And these cherry bombs are what are they?
Like 70 or 80, aren't they?
Yeah, they're $75 a piece. So there's $150 just in adapters that it comes with. So I'm super stoked about it. But of course, those distributors, all the distributors are basically shut down right now. So they're supposed to be shipping next week, but I'm sure they've had a few weeks backlog. So who knows when I'll actually ship here, but I have that coming. So I'll be able to do a cool comparison with all these once I get them all in hand and I have all the mounts and everything. So I'm still like 3 weeks back on the mounts. I ordered them, but I just haven't got them all yet. So. But I'm really excited about it.
Well, yeah, there's 3 factors that are pretty interesting there. There's weight, especially because you're comparing it to identical mounting systems. So you have identical weight comparison, I guess, spectrum. And then there's the, how quiet they are. But then there's also the look, and from what you're saying, it sounds like the Trash Panda may be the quietest and the best looking, but I guess you won't know until you test it and stuff.
Well, it should be because it's also the most expensive. I mean, that can retails for $1,050. So, it's a pricey can.
That's not always true, is it? In the suppressor world, more money makes it more better? No.
Not typically, no. But I mean, you would hope it would be the best because of the price point it's at. I mean, it is literally double the price of this Rex can. So for most people, the Rex can is probably a better deal. I mean, why not? I mean, it's almost as light. It's almost as big, but it's half the price, literally half the price. So, I mean, it depends on what you value. Everything on here is just choices. Like, okay, well, what do you value in this scenario? But, I'm really excited about it. And the beautiful thing about this whole thing is every rifle, all these cans can click on and off every other rifle, assuming the bore size matches up. So the only one that'll matter is a 6.5 Creedmoor. I'll have 2 cans that can shoot out of the 6.5, but all my ARs can shoot through every can.
Yeah.
There's something special about that, I think. I think it'll be cool. I mean, we'll see.
Well, and all the other cans can shoot through the 6.5 after you accidentally put it on there.
Yeah. Well, that's what, especially these 2 Rex cans look exactly the same. Right. So
they Sharpie them, or how?
Well, they have an engraving on them that says, what caliber they are, but yeah, it'll definitely take some cautious carefulness when I do it. But yeah, I know it's a lot of money, and I think it'll be interesting to see. I might end up not even liking all of them. I might sell a couple of them before I transfer them. Who knows? We'll see.
Cool. No, that's exciting. I need to get into the suppressor game sooner or later here. Maybe this fall. I keep saying. If I ever stop panic buying ammo.
Well, ammo will probably be more useful in the long run, but there is something about suppressing stuff. And speaking of suppressing, did you want to do a topic, or you want me to go to the next one?
Sure. Yeah. Let's switch back with Jake here on Gun Guy Radio. So I talk a little bit about what I've been up to on, I guess, homesteading. We're living on the homestead here, which this was an actual homestead. This was settled during the Homestead Act of the late 1800s. Like, it was settled during the 1880s. And this piece of property, they originally would have built a sod house. They call it a soddy, just like Little House on the Prairie, if you ever read those books. they just, cut sod out of the prairie and stacked it up like Legos and put a roof on it and called it good. And they'd live in that for several years until they could afford to build a wood house, wood stick built house. And I don't know if they went from the soddy to like a little small cabin, and then they went to a larger home, because our home was built in 1913 and it was like a Sears catalog home. It was a classic 4-square farmhouse that, it wasn't just Sears catalog, but there were several, entities that did these mail order homes, back in the turn of the century. And the house I grew up in, my parents' house, was actually the same outside dimensions of a mail order home, but different, completely different inside in a layout. Everything was different. So it's pretty interesting that, we moved hundreds of miles away and yet the houses, were somewhat similar, because there were, a lot of the Midwest and the West, was built out in the nicer homes are starting to be built in the turn of the century. So anyways, I got to thinking, what it would have been like, for them. And I don't think I could have hacked that, living in a sod house.
I could.
I mean,
worms crawling out your walls.
So dirty. I don't know. I really give it to those homesteaders because the family that homesteaded this, they were here for, I'm not sure how many generations, but looking at the deeds and stuff, this property was in their family a solid 100 years, which is pretty impressive. But so here I am now with high-speed fiber optic internet, looking at what seeds to plant. And I bought a rototiller at the Tractor Supply. So I tilled up a little garden plot, and I've actually been in talks with my buddy here about buying his tractor. He's got a pretty nice loader tractor that I can borrow a rototiller to till up even more ground. But I was getting edgy. I'm like, he's fixing a few things on it before he sells it to me. I'm like, I want to get some stuff in the ground, and I don't know, how soon he's going to get that done. So I just bought a self-propelled, it's like Cub Cadet brand at Tractor Supply. I tilled up I don't know, it's like I didn't even measure it. I just went for it and tilled up this rectangle it's probably about 20 feet by, I don't know, 35 feet or something like that. Maybe not quite that big. But we have this wooded area behind our house that, another interesting thing about this place is this wooded area behind our house, these trees are over 100 years old. They're probably planted in the teens or 20s. And originally there was hundreds of trees out here, but so many of them have died out. It's not like a thickly, forested area. But they planted all of these in rows. I measured it off. It was 5 meters one direction and 6 meters the other direction. So this whole wooded area is probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 acres of, no, probably not that much, maybe 3 or 4 acres of trees was all, hand planted back then.
They're nice in nice rows, or do they just?
Yeah, nice rows. Yeah, nice rows. But, I didn't figure that out because so many of them are gone. There's 70, 80% of them are gone at this point. And so I figured it out. Somewhere, there's a few still in rows. So that was my first hint. But then I started looking, so it was all overgrown with grass last year, and last fall I burned it all. So I burned all the tall grass off so I could really see what was out there. Well, now you can see all the divots where all the stumps had fallen down and decayed. And so I walked it off, just with my legs, figuring, a stride is about a yard and whatnot. And, so yeah, about five yards by 6 yards. And, because a lot of the places out here wouldn't have had any trees when they settled this area. It would have been just flat prairie. May have had some trees along the streams and stuff, but for the most part, if you're driving out here, it would have been just flat prairie. Not, there's way more trees out here than when they settled it because people planted so many over the years.
It's good for a windbreak, right? I mean, doesn't it help you in the winter, not having so much brutal winds hitting your house?
Yeah, that's why a lot of them planted them. And like this one originally would have been pretty good for that, but there's so many gone. The last or 2 owners ago of this place planted some pine trees closer to the house for a windbreak. So we got lucky there too. So anyways, like I figured we can put a garden in this timber that is like the place I tilled out for the garden is just really, it's pretty sparse as far as trees go. Like it'll get sun all day long because the sun, beams down kind of from the south part of the sky, especially during the growing months. And so there's no tree coverage whatsoever. And you have the bonus of like, this was covered in like leaves and decomposing, grass and everything, leaves and grass just decomposing over the last 100 years over this ground that's untouched. And they had goats out there because it's fenced in too. So like perfect soil. So anyways, I got that. That's like my homestead thing I did. I got that rototilled and so we can start planting some stuff. But I hear there's going to be a seed shortage because everyone's like in this prepper homesteading, mode. And cause the farm store where I get some stuff from, I like 70% of their seeds were gone. It looked like they were.
He's got all the terrible vegetables left. Pretty
wiped out. And like we're too early to have live plants. Like we'll see live plants show up in stores like this next week. So I'm curious how fast those go. But I stocked up on seeds, like some last fall and then some really early. As soon as the stores got them this winter, I stocked up. So I'm good on seeds, but maybe if you're listening and thinking about doing something like this, you should probably start, locking down what you're actually planning. And there's tons of great resources online for any of this prepping, gardening, anything you want to do. And the other thing, I can't figure out if we packed our pressure cooker or where the pressure cooker is. And so why you need a pressure cooker is if you're doing any kind of canning, you got to put your stuff in jars and everything and get them up to pressure. And that's what seals the jars, like the glass. Think of the classic ball canning jars of glass. Yeah, people use them as like rustic drinkware now.
Hillbilly drinkware.
Right. They don't actually use them for canning. Anyways, I was like, I need a canner. I can't, I'm not going to be able to do anything with all the stuff we grow because I've got plenty of canning jars. And then, well, that's the other thing I realized. So the canning lids that you put on the jars that seal when you put them in the pressure cooker, you have to, discard them. They're one-time use. The factory
seal's only good for once.
Yeah. So you have to buy those every year. I'm like, oh no. And like when I was looking for them, they were already wiped out. And like this was before other things were wiped out. So I'm like, dang it. Like all this stuff, like you think you're prepared, you think you're ahead of the game. But then, when stuff really happens, you really realize what you don't have when you can't buy it.
I know this is like this. This is the homesteading equivalent of the gun guys having all this gear, armor, night vision, everything, and then getting stabbed with a guy with a Mosin.
A naked guy with a Mosin the guy.
Yeah, it's the same thing, only just different situation.
It pretty much is. I mean, so I searched everywhere online, like Amazon, Walmart, even locally on the Walmart shelves. All the pressure cookers are gone. And by that time, I had already found enough canning lids to get us through this year. So good on that. But those are wiped out too, or prices are jacked up through the roof. But like out of all places, I found I got one of the last ones on Wayfair.com, which is like
Wayfair. That's
furniture,
like hippie furniture and stuff.
It's like the hippie, Pier 1 furniture. I don't know what you call it, but it's Cracker Barrel
It's like chic furniture, right? And stuff.
Well, they have gun safes too, though. I saw they have everything, but they had pressure cookers. So I got one of the last ones, so I thought that was funny.
That is funny. Hey man, you're turning over every stone here.
I am. So I think I'm set. I think I'm set for, I've got a tiller. I think I've got a tractor coming that I can till larger plots with, because I want to put in like a pretty big plot of sweet corn and lots of vines. And the vines will be like pumpkins and squashes. And I even got packages of like the world's largest pumpkins. And I thought that'd be fun to try that with the kids. You can't really do anything with them, but if you ever go to like
shoot them, tannerite.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. If you ever go to the state fairs or what and see the giant pumpkins, that's what these are supposed to be, like that fit on a pallet. Like, I guess on what point do you put it on the pallet? You got to grow it in the pallet, don't you?
Well, you need to put it on there, but while you still can lift it up yourself.
Just so. I don't know. But we have a drier climate than back in Illinois, so I don't know how well, a lot of stuff is going to grow. But like I was buying, I was kind of thinking smart last fall, because like Tractor Supply, they'll run really good off-season clearance on a lot of stuff, and other stores like it. And so like I stocked up on like shovels and garden hoses and sprinklers, and like I'm just trying to think of all the stuff that
just buying to be buying.
But with a purpose, with an excuse, yeah.
Is this what you tell your wife?
Yes.
Does she even ask anymore?
No, thankfully not.
Yeah, my wife's at that point too with the gun stuff. She doesn't really care. She's like, if you need it, go ahead and get it, whatever.
She's like, you're just going to do what you're going to do.
I can't chain him down. All right, I want to talk about gun stuff again.
All right.
Show me your Odin. Let's compare Odins.
At least we don't release those videos. So
okay, so I bought the pewter version, and you have the black version. So mine's got this grayish color. I did get the deep 6, and this is so they do a deep 6, and they call for like a 6-inch barrel, and that's what they sell. They sell a 6 and a 9-inch barrel through Enoch Industries.
Yeah.
But what I did is I moved over my 4.5-inch barrel that was worked over by CPC, and then this one, since it has a nice big suppressor cut out in the front end here, this one I was able to get my dead air mask on. So this is a all stainless baffled suppressor. Should be easy to clean. It's a lot nicer there. And then what I did is I put my trigger kit that had my it's a BX trigger, I believe, but it has the tandem cross red aluminum flat face trigger in it. And then up top, I put this tandem cross direct mount. I think they call it a shadow mount. It's like it looks like a lollipop almost. And then you bolt it on, and then you can flip it front or back. So you can have the optic bias to the rear or the front.
It's really flat. Yeah.
It's very flat. So this prevents me from having to put a Picatinny mount on there plus the Picatinny mount on the optic. So it should keep it as low as possible. And then I mounted the Holosun 507, the little micro dot that usually is on a pistol. I put it on it.
Yeah. I thought about putting that on one of these.
I think it's proportional since it's so short barrel and everything. I think this makes more sense. I didn't really like how I had the big T1 style Holosun on there. It still is fine. I think this just might work good, but this optic with this mount on my PMACA chassis, since the PMACA comes straight out from a buffer tube in the back, I could get my cheek down low enough, but the dot ended up being in like the upper quarter of the window, which is not where it should be. It's just not a natural position. Doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So it really, if I was going to keep this receiver in a PMACA chassis, I would have to go with a Picatinny mount just to get it a little bit higher, because it needed to be a little bit higher. But I asked you to measure your comb of your SB 1913 brace to the top of the receiver, and you had like almost an inch more of clearance, so it looks like it drops more in it. And just looking at this, it does look like it drops more. The one thing I noticed, so my brace is coming. I don't have the brace yet, but I got everything else assembled today. The chassis just showed up today. So I'm running an Arasaka finger stop right here on the very end M-lock, so I don't slip my hand off onto the hot suppressor. And then I added these rubber M-lock, Magpul M-lock filler.
Yeah, I got some of those right here on my desk.
They're very comfortable. They're nice, and they give it a little bit of squish. So it's got that rubber textury thing. Kind of nice. I'll see you when I actually shoot it. But what I noticed is I'm using an MOEK grip. Is that what you're using as well? I think we said that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when I without the brace attached, if I just jam my hand up on it like it's a pistol, I feel like the Picatinny section is digging into my webbing in my hand. Does it do it on yours, or does the brace kind of space you down from it?
Yeah, I think I can't. I got the brace too tight. I can't pull it off. But yeah, I think it wouldn't be comfortable to shoot without a brace or something on it. Because the brace on mine, it comes down lower. I've got it in the bottom Picatinny mounts, and it comes down lower than the bottom of the back of the receiver.
You don't have a little jabby corner there. You've got like a whole flat bottom then.
So yeah, I mean, it's like not. I didn't notice it till you just said it though. So I like shooting it. I didn't think of it.
Okay. My backup plan was to put a different grip on there that has a more vertical grip angle and a longer grip, so I could just space my hand down a little bit on the grip. But we'll see.
I think it'll be fine once you get.
I think it'll be fine.
Brace on, yeah.
But my plans for this whole thing have been foiled royally. And it's a longer story. I'm just going to make it a little bit shorter story. Is this was going to be my machine gun. This was going to be the one. I was just going to make this the machine gun. And the machine gun came, and I got it all tested out. And the trigger mechanism in a machine gun with an open bolt, I mean, because your trigger is basically holding your bolt open. And then when it just hinges down, and it pulls down on the bolt and lets it go forward. So it's not the greatest trigger. So you're not going to be shooting it for groups or anything like that, obviously. It's basically a bullet hose. That's all it's meant for.
Yeah.
And this is too pretty to be a bullet hose. And it's just too cool.
So you have to build something else.
So what I did is will be my cool 4.5-inch gun with the little red dot and the suppressor. And this will be my fun little handy gun. And then I have this guy, which will be my machine gun. Now, the one thing I still have to do though, because I don't.
So this is in your PMACA.
So this is the PMACA long nose chassis. This is the one I had that whole barrel assembly from the Enoch. It was in here before. So I switched it over, but I only have this 10-inch charger barrel left. So I was thinking, I was going all the way through last night thinking, okay, I need to buy like a 6-inch barrel, or because nobody has 4.5-inch barrels that are worth a damn. So the 6-inch barrels, Enoch sells a Tactical Solutions version, like a branded version of their barrel, and it's light. It's like 5.9 ounces. It's an aluminum sleeved barrel, 6 inches, but it's $215. That's a lot of scratch. And so then I looked at the kid barrel. That's why I want to know what happened with your kid barrel.
Oh yeah.
The kid barrel is $150.
Yeah.
But it's a pound, which would be over double what the other barrel was. And I don't doubt any of them are super accurate, but in reality, I'm shooting it with a micro red dot. Yeah. Am I going to shoot this gun for groups? Is this going to be my bench gun? I don't think so. And this gun specifically is literally a bullet hose. So this one, I think what I'm going to end up doing is just have this barrel cut to 4.5 inches, and bring the suppressor back and tuck it. It'll tuck it with a 4.5-inch barrel and the mask on this Enoch. The suppressor sticks out 1.25 inches, which is about perfect because that's just enough length for me to get my pointer finger and thumb wrapped around it to unscrew it. Yeah. So that is about what I need to hang off the front. I guess it would look cool if it was totally flush, but it's really not practical to get it on and off the gun. So if I do that same math with the Q El Camino, because this El Camino is the only stainless steel baffled suppressor that I have that will fit the smaller barrel channel diameter of the PMACA chassis, and so it'll still tuck. So if I just cut this barrel back, it should be good. And then this one is the full machine gun, so it has a real stock and a real grip. And I have a vertical foregrip coming for it. I have it on order. And then this grip will come off, and then I'll put a Magpul K grip on it, just like the other one. And then since it's a bullet hose, I put a Bushnell TRS 25 on it. Like, why do I need a super duper red dot on it? I'm just kind of aiming it somewhat anyways.
So did you shoot it yet?
I did. And I had some issues. I'm having some issues. I'm working on it. So what I was told about these guns initially is that they foul up pretty quick. Just the full auto and the dirty ammo and everything, they foul up. So it was test fired when it was built, and then I had it and I shot it probably a couple hundred rounds. So it may be dirty. So what was happening is, so you can see here the bolt is locked back, and this is, ready to fire. I'll make sure there's no ammo in it. Okay. So safety still works, but all you do when you pull the trigger, it just lets go of the bolt. And on the underside of the bolt, there's a pocket that was milled, and then the trigger, the hammer has a notch to correspond with that pocket. And then when you pivot down the trigger, it basically just lets go of the bolt. That's all it's doing. And the spring tension of the recoil spring is pulling it forward, and it's got a firing pin machined in the face, and then it just hits it. So it's got to strip the round, get it into the chamber, and hit it fast enough that it all explodes, or blows up, so it ignites.
Yeah.
What's happening, I noticed, depending on the mag, depending on how many rounds are in the mag, it seems really dependent on that, is you go to pull the trigger and it chambers it, but the bolt is moving slow enough that it doesn't ignite it. So then it's super frustrating, because then you have a chambered round that you can't fire, and you can't just pull the bolt back and let go again, because then it'll try to take the next round off the mag. So you basically have to lock it back, pull the mag out, shoot around, redo everything. So I was getting super frustrated yesterday. I was like, this is a mistake. Why did I do this? This is bad. But I'm going to try it again. I took it all the way apart. I ultrasonic cleaned everything. So this is super duper nice and easy to run. I even put this tandem cross extended charging handle on this one, figuring that this recoil spring might be a little bit stiffer than the factory one.
What receiver is that? This is
a Ruger charger receiver. This is an OEM charger receiver.
Maybe that.
So I also stoned the inside of the receiver with a polishing stone. So the inside of the receiver is smooth now. I also noticed, this is the weirdest thing on these 1022s. You know how the ejector is in the trigger pack? I noticed when I was trying to really carefully watch the trigger or the bolt, move forward to see if it had any resistance when I was going forward. And I noticed this ejector and this trigger stood a little proud. And so you could feel it when it went forward, and it kind of had a little hiccup when it run over the ejector. It didn't do it on this other gun I had. So I took the ejector out, and I just stoned it down a little bit on the top surface. So between the cleaning and the stoning and all the cleanup work, I'm going to try to get it out again this weekend and try it, and hopefully it'll work. But, it was a little frustrating when I first did it, because I was like, just this, like, it felt like a gun that you just had to tap, rack, bang every single time. It's like super frustrating. So I think this one, when I cut the barrel back, it looks a little goofy now with a 10-inch barrel and the suppressor on it.
Did you try different ammo when it was doing that?
I did, but I don't think it's ammo related, because it's not even, it's all about the bolt speed. And that's what, when I contacted the guy, he's like, well, maybe your mag's dirty. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter, because it's pulling off the mag. Maybe if the spring tension on the mag is too much and it can't fight that pressure to strip the next round. So I took all my mags apart and I put them in the ultrasonic cleaner. I cleaned everything out of them, wiped them all down, made sure there wasn't lube. I actually lubed this one. I just poured gun lube inside the chamber and I tried to rack it, but in hindsight, I think that actually makes it worse, because the viscosity of the oil probably would slow it down even worse. So I'm going to try it, run it bone dry tomorrow, this weekend, hopefully, and then see what happens. But fingers crossed for me on that one, and we'll go. But that'll have two really cool guns. But I was looking at my safe. I'm like, that Volquartsen 1022 that I have, that's full setup Volquartsen, carbon fiber barrel, everything with a scope on it, is like 6 pounds. It's super light. And then my big heavy duty Bull stainless barrel with the big heavy wood stock and a scope is only like 8 pounds. So like between those two rifles, what can't I do? Like, if I want to go hunting, okay, grab the Volquartsen. If I want to do, just straight up bench rest for long strings of fire, I got the other gun. Like, how many of these 1022s do I need? But I've got a couple extra receivers ready to go. I've got that Tika, I've got that CZ. Ugh. And then I just got word today that the Keltec CP33 had shipped.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be another gun that has a SP13, cool. 1913 brace on it. So that's like a 33 round pistol with a brace on it. So that will be a neat gun too. But I just want this machine gun to work. But when it does work, oh my God, it's just like, it's so fast. It's just, and it's done. And it's pretty neat. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, hopefully that took care of it. Sounds like you did everything.
Yeah, and I have a whole other story about M16 woes too, but we're already running about an hour, so I'll save that for the next show.
We're save that for M16 drama for next time. Cool. Well, yeah, you'll have to get out and do some videos so people can check out.
I did do a couple videos. You should look at my YouTube channel, Zack Carlson Writer, because I did do some videos on my CZ Scorpion that I was going to SBR and go back and forth with the heat shields and all. There's some videos there. I have a video I just put up of my PWS, my kind of go-to-war kind of carbine. That is all up. So, yeah, check those out, though. I think they're pretty good. Getting a good response so far on them.
If you want to see a video of me painstakingly rototilling, you can, no one wants to see that. So Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out Patch a Month Club at patriotpatch.co. May Patch is going to be releasing next, we'll drop the design. You can see what it is next, end of next week. So patriotpatch.co. Also check out the awesome gun cleaning mats. And if you need, artwork design, website design, check out hunterofdesign.com. Ryan Cross, he can help you out with whatever you need in the artwork realm. hunterofdesign.com. And Zach, where can people connect with you?
The best place is look at YouTube and just search for Zack, Z-A-C-K, Carlson Writer, and you'll find all my stuff.
I'm going to start Zack, Z-A-C-H, Carlson Writer on YouTube.
I think they say you've made it if you find some haters. So there you go.
You can send us email at gunguyradio@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. And we're going to be doing, like I said before, we're going to be doing every other week here for a little bit. I'll be on This Week in Guns next week. And then the following week, we'll be back on Gun Guy Radio here. Well, thank you, Zach.
Thank you. See you in a couple weeks.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.